Hi, my name's Tanoa Sasraku and I'm here at my exhibition at Spike Island, Terratypes. I coined the term Terratype to describe the newsprint works in the space that I think of as Earth photos. The Terratypes forms reference electrical components. They're comprised out of 20 sheets of plain newsprint, which are marked and stained with earth pigments that I foraged from around the British Isles. Once the layers are stitched together, I soak them in bodies of water, typically the sea or rivers, and then gesturally tear away shards of paper to reveal the colour palettes within. There are 5 objects in the show called liths, and they reference standing stones both in their scale and the imagery that they contain. They are created from off-tears from some of the Terratypes, which are then flattened, scanned and enlarged and printed on a Japanese paper called kozo. And these prints are housed within a black painted OSB box frame that are freestanding in the space. The box frames reveal 2 prints, a front and a back, of each torn shard. In this show, I really wanted to play with an oscillation of scale between the objects, particularly the liths and the Terratypes. And whilst the liths are intended to be quite looming and dominating, they also provide the architectural structure for the show, whereas the Terratypes provide a window into a rural landscape, but also, in their smaller scale, form circuitry gates, which revolve around the central lith structures. In the show, there are also some small-scale bronzes, which in their centres contain foraged pigment stone that's embedded. These bronzes were inspired by an artefact from around 150 BC called the Baghdad battery. It was a rudimentary electrical component intended to resurrect the sacred dead. I think of the bronzes as these buttons or batteries that are intended to energize the space and to activate both the liths and the Terratypes themselves. When I was beginning to develop the work for this exhibition, I wanted to think of how I could make truly site-specific objects, and a really useful thread of research was pigment foraging, specifically foraging for mineral pigments as opposed to plant dyes. So I've engaged in 10 months of foraging excursions, starting on the Isle of Skye in Scotland, taking me down through the southwest coast and finishing about a month ago on Dartmoor in South Devon. And I'm really interested in how the colour palette of a place can be quite surprising based on the mineral pigments that are available in that area. Across all the works in the show, a geometric pattern is visible. It's lifted from a tartan stitch pattern that I've enlarged, embossed, stenciled and engraved into the bronzes, the liths and the Terratypes. And I wanted this stitch pattern to link all of the works in the show in a circuit of sorts. Having grown up in Plymouth, it was really important to me to complete this body of work on Dartmoor using foraged pigments from the area. And it's been really significant because of that, to be able to travel from Plymouth up the coast and to finally present these works at Spike Island in Bristol.